from the Cajun capital of the world.
I'm the average Lafayette, Louisiana kid.
See, I'm back on my...
Hey, fellas. Hey, Brady Review said, congratulations. Say what's up, y'all. Yeah!
People that have courage don't have no extra gene. There's no difference in you. The difference is, are you going to sit down when it's time to stand up?
See some folks. What's up? Welcome into Rage and Review. I forgot to hit unmute there, Lane. It's been, hey, look, I've been drinking. It's been 15 innings tonight. It's been a while. We've been going quite a long time, and it's been a lot of fun. So very excited to welcome in two of our listeners and now contributors, Big Keb. We got Mike Beerb. We got Lane here. Now that I know what I'm doing, now that I properly kicked off the episode. Boys, I'll start with you, Lane. I know you're just getting off work, didn't get to catch a whole lot of the series, but man, tonight was exhausting, but it was fun, right?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I actually caught the last 7 innings, I guess, with the extra innings. That was crazy because it was going back and forth between the pitching duel, and then we hit that big hit at the end, and I'm like, we might be back.
We might be back. I like the way you think. Mike, what's going on, man? I know I kept telling you, I'm like, okay, we're going to go on 4:10, then 4:30, then 4:50. Then I was like, screw it, 6 o'clock and then 6:10. What's going on, man? How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Finally, we could put that game away.
Dude, what the hell was that, man? That was wild. And we're going to get into the game. In fact, we're going to get into all 3 games. I'll start with Friday in a second. So I don't want to ruin anything, but did you stay for the whole 15 innings tonight, or did you come back a little early?
I left in the ninth to come back home, thinking we were going to end it.
I don't blame you. I thought we were going to be done, man.
Caught the rest on TV.
And the future mayor of Patterson right there, Big Keb, my boy. What's going on, baby? I know you didn't make it out today. You like me. We don't exactly live close to the ballpark, but you had to be excited by what you saw this weekend.
Oh, I absolutely thrilled. I mean, getting a sweep. I mean, can you ask for more than that?
Look at Tyrell. He already wants us to book flights to Omaha, baby. Well, calm your tits, bro. Like this is the first sweep. We only swept 2 teams all season last year. It's encouraging that we've swept our first win this weekend, and it's a big team, 10 team at that. So power conference my ass. But it is good to get the sweep. I think that is a sign of good things to come, and we saw a lot of encouraging things this weekend. So we will get into that in just a second. First, we're going to thank our sponsors. When we come back, we'll get into Friday night's game and take it from there, boys. We'd like to thank the following partners who make Rage and Review possible. Our title sponsor, the Best Stop Family Market, with locations in Katy and Baytown, Texas, Toledo Bend, Karen Crow, and of course, the official location opened in 1986 in Scott. Visit the Best Stop and ask about the Rage and Review tailgate platters. Gulf Coast Bank, title sponsor of the Tailgate Show every Saturday, 3 hours before kickoff. Planet Radio 106.7. Lafayette Roofing. The Yard Goat. Yes Please Branding and Marketing. Old Time Grocery. Stride Safety Solutions. Eat Lafayette, brought to you by Lafayette Travel, Rage and Hydration, and Dr. Brett Venable at Recovery Chiromed. And we'd also like to thank our Patreon sponsors listed here. For only $2 a month, you too could have early access to uncut interviews before they air here on our shows. You also get an exclusive Patreon icon next to your name on Cajun Threads, the official message forum for Rage and Review. If you are interested in joining as a Patreon, visit us at patreon.com/Rage and Review. Thanks to all of our corporate and Patreon sponsors for making this show possible. Sponsors who do things like this. We got Angel East, Angel East, sending us a sticker on YouTube. Man, that is awesome. Every dollar that you guys give us goes back into this show, which is awesome. So appreciate your contribution. Be sure to chime in. Guys, there are two ways to get in tonight. You can go on to X, and I know there's a lot going on because then you have to go into X and watch the show separately, and then X has the X space that you can chime in on. So you're welcome to do that, or you can actually call in on the phone, 866-454-RAGE. I'll keep that little Shaw's down there to remind you of the numbers to dial in case you want to call in. But we'd love to hear from our listeners because this is kind of like a post-game show, post-game weekend kind of thing, and we'd love to hear it. Destiny talking about her, I think it's her cousin Blaze. He's going to be a menace. I just want to tell our girl Destiny, watch out. I think he got 5 hits tonight. And look, all of us, and I'm going to go to you on this, Mike, but I know all of us as on this show, not inclusive of you, exclusive of you, you kind of laughed when he said he's a combination of Debo and Trahan, and we were like, you are losing your freaking mind. But I got to tell you, man, for what I saw defensively, what I saw with his bat this weekend, Deggs may be a lot smarter than me. And I saw a lot of good things out of Blaze this weekend, brother.
But Blaze is a special kid. If he keeps this up at this rate, that is a draft type guy, 100%. His defense is lights out. We gave up 0 errors in the last 4 games, which is extremely impressive. He gets a lot of balls hit to him. He goes, 5 for 7 tonight, and completely just we just can't stop talking about him. He's that good. He's the real deal. He's going to be the face of the program the next couple of years.
But we got to keep him, and that's another thing.
Absolutely.
And when we start talking about things, look, guys, I get it. We had Curl on, and then we got this, and now it's Cajun's Edge and NIL, and everybody's exhausted. But the reason we give to NIL is because of guys like him who are special to the program, and we need to keep those guys here around for a long time. So, you know, when you're thinking about contributing to Cajun's Edge and thinking about NIL and thinking about, oh shit, I got to buy tickets, but I got to pay this for NIL. Understand it's for guys like him who we need to keep here, because from what I've seen, like you said, he's a special guy. I mean, you look all around, and Big Kev, I'll go to you next. You look around this whole roster. How many young pups do you see on this roster that you can point to that are freshmen? And you're like, holy shit, if we can hold on to these guys for a while, we're going to be a special team. Maybe even this year. I don't know. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with Blaze Rodriguez. I mean, what more can you ask for from a freshman shortstop? I know last year we kind of struggled at the position. We were kind of in and out of guys. But if you look at what Debo was able to do for us the previous 3 years, and even John Taylor at times stepping in at shortstop, we were solid up the middle. So it's very refreshing to have a guy like that come in as a freshman and just be absolutely rock solid. He does not leave plays to be made. He's got immaculate control of his bat. He's clutch. He's smart. I mean, he won 2 games for us this weekend in 2 different ways. You know, a 15th inning walk-off single and a 4-run comeback ninth walk, you know, to seal the deal. So you got to be excited about having some stability there, and excited, like you said, about the future. Hopefully the guy sticks around. I think he sees the potential here. And when it comes to NIL and players leaving and stuff like that, I think it's different here when it comes to baseball as opposed to football or whatever it may be. Just because our baseball culture and tradition is just, it's so much better than a lot of other places like this. You know, it's really top tier. So I don't think we'll have too much problems keeping those guys around, knock on wood. But I mean, you look at a guy like Colt Brown, what he's been able to do in 7 games has been phenomenal. I know he struggled a little bit today with some of the breaking balls and, you know, kind of trying to wait on his pitch. He got caught up looking a few times, but as a freshman, that'll come. That's okay. So, a guy like Noah Lewis, who just really makes you feel good, roaming around in center field. The future is really bright when it comes to this freshman class.
Well, one of our guys, let's see, who said it? Oh, it was Steve B. Steve B said Friday night's game knocked a few years off my life. Let's start with Friday night's game, boys. And, Maryland went up 3-0 in the third. Ty Roman came out and pitched a relatively good game. He gave up 4 runs. His ERA is going to suffer because all of them were earned. But you expect if you give up 4 runs, and you're supposed to have an offense that is coached under Matt Deggs, you're going to get runs to be able to cover that 4-run deficit. Now, in the last year, we really didn't see that. We go down 4 runs, and it almost seemed like insurmountable that we would ever come back from that. But the offense did its job and did really, did what our offense has shown to do this season, and that's come back from missed opportunities later in the game, try to fight back. And I know I criticized Deggs last week with the pack mentality comment after we lost to Missouri State. But I think looking back at it and seeing what we saw this year or this weekend, I kind of have to go back and say, okay, Deggs, you saw something we didn't see because you've been with them all fall and all spring. I still don't think you should have said, oh, no, this was great. The pack mentality. But you really saw that starting Friday night. The guys weren't pressing late in the game. I mean, hell, we had to score 4 runs in the 9th, and I get it was a complete collapse from the Maryland bullpen. But last year, you feel like we would have pressured ourselves into trying to get hits in the bottom of the 9th, and we were very patient. I thought the decisions on the coaching side and by the batters and fielders were great. And I'll start with that, Kev. 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th. It was a walk-off walk that got us the win. And again, it was a total collapse by Maryland's bullpen. But Kev, last year, we would have found a way to lose the game. And you felt like this year, we found a way to win it. I think that's a big difference between last year's team and this year's team, only 2 weeks in. I mean, it could change as we go, but right now, that's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, Nick, you nailed it. That's the difference I've seen so far between this year's team and last year's team. Is just, I don't know, there's a certain swag about them. There's a certain chemistry it seems like they have that you've seen flashes of it last year, like the walk-off DBU win or the walk-off, the Hepworth homer in the 8th against Texas State. Like, we won 6 out of 7 at one point, but we were never able to sustain those types of victories or just sustain any types of win at all. So I think that's what you're going to see a lot of this year. You just see some guys that, frankly, are dogs. We didn't have too many dogs last year. I'm telling you now, this team is full of dogs. And, yeah, Dex has been saying it, and a lot of people don't want to hear it for whatever reason. They did not want to hear that this team was full of dogs. But so far through 7 games, we've won, 5 in a row now? I mean, you get a 3-0 shutout at Rice. You get 2 improbable victories this weekend. You get a blowout victory this weekend after getting your heart ripped out Saturday against Missouri State. So, like I said, it just goes to the point that this team's just built a little differently.
Let's talk about Ty Roman. Because he showed some nice things on Friday night, but he also got himself into a little bit of trouble. Gave up 4 earned runs, not what you want to see out of a Friday night starter. And somebody commented in the comments, let me pull that back up, said Roman gets one more chance on Friday. We need better than that on Friday night. Here's my question to you guys. Do you think, and I guess I'll go to you, Mike. I know I'm just joining you back in, so if you're not ready to answer this, don't feel like you have to. But Ty Roman, does he have to show you more on Friday night to remain the starter? Because I got to tell you, and we'll get to game 2, what I saw out of Herm and what we all saw out of Herm, but also what we saw out of a young freshman pitcher against Rice. I'm not saying he's a Friday night starter quite yet, but if Roman doesn't bats kind of start to limit that damage in the early innings, we may see him being moved to a different starting role with the team. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I really like Ty Roman. I think he really, for majority of his outings, he gives us really good innings. There are a few hiccups, but both outings he's gone a full 5 innings. So we haven't had to pull him early because of trouble, but there are probably about 2 innings in his last appearances that there were a little hiccups, but I don't think it's enough to pull him. I think you ride him until you can't no more. Our whole pitching staff gives us really good opportunities to win ball games. They're going deep into innings. They're all going to 5 innings. I like Ty, and I think he's your Friday night guy going next weekend.
Cab, you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think Rome has gave us enough hope after 2 starts to keep going with him. It's similar in the first 2 games. The first 2 starts he's kind of had a shaky first inning, and then came back to really lock him down for a solid 4 or 5 innings. So we haven't had a starting pitcher get pulled in less than, I think, 4 or 5 innings this season so far. So I mean, it's very encouraging. He's got good stuff for sure.
I agree. Coach Degg said before, it's not how you fall, but how you respond. I agree. I think last weekend, look, we should only have 1 loss this season as of this point. We kind of poo-pooed one of those games away against Missouri State, but in the end, for us to be complaining about 1 loss, I'm okay with going into Kansas State. Now we'll talk about Kansas State more in depth later in the week, and we'll talk about how our game today affects that pitching rotation going into the week. But I don't want to get ahead of myself because I keep on thinking these things as we're talking. Looking at the pitching from Friday night, Ty Roman, 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Hayden Pearson came in, 1 run, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. Garrett Carter came in for an inning and a third, gave up 2 hits, a run, and had 1 strikeout. And then Pappenbrock closed it out for 1 2/3 innings with 1 walk and 4 strikeouts. Pappenbrock did a good job to kind of shut things down to give us the opportunity to come back in the 9th. So good job overall from the entire team. Hitting wise, Blaze, again, he had 4 appearances, 1 hit, a ribby, 1 walk and 1 strikeout. Spalita. I'm going to get his name right eventually. I got to call him something else. Split. I'm going to call him Split. Split. He had a run on 2 hits and 1 strikeout. But you're seeing a lot more. And then Rigo. Sorry, I got to go to Rigo because he had a hit on and 2 hits. I'm sorry, 2 hits on a run, 1 run on 2 hits and then 2 strikeouts. But we're going to talk more about Rigo, especially today, because you're seeing a guy kind of mature in front of our eyes. But overall, Friday night was a lot of fun. It was stressful. We certainly, gained some, some wrinkles on our faces after that game, Lane. And again, I'm not going to get it to you, Lane, until today because you only really got to watch today's game, last 7 innings. So we'll get to you then. But let's talk about Saturday. Totally different ball game. Saturday was just almost not competitive. I mean, we came out, we swung the bat. And what I really like to see out of the team on Saturday is that we never stopped putting pressure on them. It was a scoreless going into the 4th. We get to the bottom of the 4th, score 5 runs, score another run in the bottom of the 5th. Maryland comes back and scores 1 in the 7th, but we come back at the bottom of the 7th and score 2. So we never gave them the opportunity to get any momentum. And I think that is such an underrated thing in baseball. You see it a lot being discussed in football, but it's so important. Even if you're ahead 10 runs, if another team scores, you come back and you score more than them, especially in those situations. And you really put your foot on their neck. But I think the guy we need to talk about most in that game, and look, Lee Amadei had a good game at the plate again. And let's talk about this. This was the 2nd game in a row, no errors. And we could go back and look at our fielding percentage so far this season. We'll do that later. Defensively, we are light years ahead of where we were last year. But man, Andrew Herman, dude, he had 6 1/3 innings pitched, gave up 2 hits, 1 run, 3 walks. And look, he's going to give a couple free bases. All right. He hit a guy. I think he hit the first batter of the game. Like, that's what you're going to get out of Herm, because he's going to challenge batters and he's going to try to hit corners and he'll come inside. And, you know, I understand that. But again, 7 strikeouts on the day. I mean, what do you expect out of my dude giving up 1 run through 6 1/3? Mike, that is one of the best performances I've seen out of Herm since he's been here. My guy, and look, I got to give credit to Taylor, the new pitching coach coming in. You see development now. You see some guys last year that may have struggled in those situations. Oh, and by the way, Simo's not pitching for us yet, guys. We got to think about that. Like, we got 3 pitchers on the weekend that were nickel and diming here on what they can do better. We still got Simo on the bench. That's going to be back in the rotation at some point this season. So, Mike, I'll let you talk about Herman, man. I never text players. I don't have a whole bunch of their numbers. I texted Herm after that game and said some expletives and said, dude, that was a great job. Good job, man. I mean, I don't even know what more you can say about that. Pitched 116 pitches, didn't even look like he slowed down one bit.
I mean, what an absolute performance by Herm. I mean, this is a guy that's not going to throw. He's not going to burn you. He's going to, at max, 91 miles an hour. You remind me of the Hastings guy from today from Maryland. Everything's off speed. He goes deep, 6 innings, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, 2 hits, 1 run. I mean, what more can you ask for him? He was phenomenal. We only used 2 pitchers on Saturday, which was a huge advantage for later this weekend and also pushing next week. But what a lights out performance by Herm.
Lane, I said you weren't at the games this weekend. You were there yesterday. Talk about what you saw out of Herman. I know it might have been a little later in the game, but the guy was throwing gas. And look, he didn't overpower guys. He's got a little bit more velocity than he had last year, but his ability to hit the spots that he needs to hit, that's good stuff.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And like I said, I caught the end of it, so I caught the end of his performance. But from what I saw, he looked like the old Herm that we had in spurts last season and the year before. But I will say the atmosphere yesterday was actually really good, even though it was hot for Louisiana weather at this time. But I felt like it was a good atmosphere. People were into the game, and I enjoyed it. And I won't be able to go to many games this year, but I had a good time.
By the way, Lane, this is for me. Remind me to talk about the atmosphere once we're done talking about all 3 games, because I want to go back to Friday, but I don't want to screw everything up, because I do want to know what the atmosphere was like all weekend. Kev, look, aside from Herm, and look, I want you to talk about Herm, and hell, you can talk about all of the pitching during yesterday's game, but specifically, I want to talk about, I thought Lee Amadei did a really good job at the plate. Defensively, I thought he did a really good job as well, and we're settled on we're settled on our infield. I feel for this weekend, the whole infield looks like we're solid. But talk a little bit about, what you saw out of Herm and what you saw out of the lineup yesterday, because I thought that was really impressive. And look, I know Maryland may not be a great team in the Big Ten, but they're still in the Big Ten. They're going to have some good competition. They're going to win some games they already have. Talk about what you saw yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, they're still, like you said, they're a Big Ten roster. They have some guys with a lot of power. They do have some arms. Shout out to Hastings tonight, man. I don't know how that guy isn't farther up in their lineup, on a Friday or a Saturday. I think Dan had mentioned that maybe he had overpitched a little bit last weekend, and that's why he was coming in on Sunday today. But no, Herm, you're getting 2024 Herm right now. You're getting a guy, I don't remember who said it, he's Iron Man out there. He's got a silicone arm. He doesn't get tired. He doesn't waver. He can lose a guy here and there, but he's gonna come back and he's gonna strike some guys out. He's got all the stuff he had, in years past, but now he's got that velocity that's ticked up. And I don't know if we credit Herm himself with that, or if we give some credit to Coach Sandy.
I think there's no way you can't give credit to Coach Sandy.
Yeah,
we haven't seen that out of him last year,
right? No,
or the entire pitching staff, if we're being honest.
Yeah, there was no continuity from 24 to 25 pitching wise. And there wasn't too much development there. I mean, guys like Tillette obviously and SEMO, but other than that, it's just like the staff last year was everywhere, including Herm, who's our guy. So it's good to see him back to form. And Lord willing, this team in general, but Herm as well, if they can stay healthy and you get this kind of Herm the rest of the year, we have a solid guy. You got a guy that not only can start on a Saturday, he started on Fridays for the first half of 2024. You got a guy that could start Sunday. He could in a tournament, he can pitch 3 days in a row. It's really a weapon having a guy like that.
It really is, man. And offensively on Saturday, again, we just swung it. And I thought we were, again, a lot more patient than we have been in prior seasons. And I know somebody was kind of crapping on a couple of decisions Deggs made, especially today with the I think we had runners on first and third, 2 outs. Not ninth inning really doesn't cost you anything to send the guy from first, because that may have forced the shortstop to make a long throw if we got him to second base. But besides that, I feel like Deggs is making smarter decisions so far this season. Josh is going to call in and rail my ass on this one because but I'm telling you, from the lineup decisions, from having a stable lineup, from having stable, guys in their positions that they're used to, I can't help but believe that's helping this team gel early and be confident early, because when you start moving guys around on weekends, then you start screwing with their heads. I feel like this is I feel like, I'm not saying he's listening, because I know his ass don't listen to me except when I say negative things, and then he gets back to my brother and he gets yelled at. But I feel like we're getting in a good place, Kev. I see you laughing, but don't you feel like it's kind of right now, we don't feel as chaotic as we were at this point last season?
Absolutely, 100% agree. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, Deggs is showing us right now that's bullshit. Because I mean, from the lineups being more consistent to a little bit more conservative third base coaching, which if you look at the Friday night game, we're at 0 outs the whole ninth inning. We're playing station to station. How many times would you have seen Deggs send a guy
Force
there?
it. He would have forced it every single time.
He's learning from his mistakes. It may have taken him a little while, but look, I mean, everybody knows I love Deggs. I love his style of baseball. I love the whole pack thing, but I really do have to point out that he's doing some things better this year. I could tell he's giving Sandy some more control with the staff. He's not pulling guys. He's more consistent with how guys stay out there. He's consistent with the pitches he uses to set up guys. Everything has been working just really well from that standpoint so far. So
yeah, and I want to mention Coach Sandifer. Unfortunate news: we found out his father passed away a couple weeks ago, and he's been dealing with that. But he's been at the games, and his parents were actually supposed to be down for the first weekend last weekend, and unfortunately, with his dad's passing, could not happen. But you just gotta show respect for him and what he's done, and just tough circumstance, but he just keeps on grinding, and that's what I like to see out of this team. This team, you feel like they're never out of it now. And I know we're only 2 weeks into the season. Things can change. Scouting reports go out. But look, what I'm seeing from our team right now, and Blaze Rodriguez and Rigo and we'll talk about Cody Brash in a little bit, because we felt like Brash could have been, I know we said it today, Kev. We were like, hey, why? I thought we were going with Brash instead of, I forgot who they brought in. I don't know if it was Pappenbrock, but we'll talk about that because we'll get to game 3. I don't want to get into that yet. But I think all in all, that was a good middle game for the series. Anything else you want to add, Mike, on offense or defense? Because I won't get into the nitty gritty on it. It was a 9-1 win. It was good to have.
Absolutely. That's one of the games we could finally start relaxing and stop pressing. Everybody had at least 1 or 2 hits. We drew 8 walks. I mean, nine runs, 11 hits, 0 errors. I mean, that was just a good win, non-stress. I will go back to the Diggs part because I agree that we're not seeing drastic changes in the lineup. We're not seeing your leadoff bat ninth like the changes he made last year.
That's important, man, to players.
And I will note, every time on Friday night, he pinch hits Tripp and Gold, which have both come in clutch. Tripp drew a RBI, Gold get hits by pitch. So every time Diggs is putting people late in the game, they're making an impact somewhere on the game. And it's the underclassmen. It's Gold, it's Tripp, Mark Collins, Kaysen Bellard. Like, took Kaysen Bellard out, Noah Lois goes in. So he's making the right changes at the right time for me right now. And I want to wash last year. Last year was kind of a mess, but we're seeing less changes from him, and he's making right decisions late in the game so far.
I agree with you. Let's talk about today's game because today's game went way long. I guess we have a lot to talk about today's game, but in the end, Cajuns go 15 with Maryland and win by a score of 6-5, assuming that Maryland doesn't have to fly out till tomorrow. Otherwise, that game would have ended in a tie at some point. But Maryland, right off the bat, with Tillett, come out with two runs in the first, and you're like, all right, we still got this. It's first inning. We got plenty of time to run with it. And then the fourth inning, you had Blaze single to shortstop, got an RBI. Rigo, there was a drop fly ball, but that's something that last year it seemed like would never happen. Well, there was a drop fly ball, and then Rigo ended up scoring there. Markle single to left center during that inning, and then Mandino double to left center. So, just manufacturing runs, taking advantage of what they gave us. The one thing that was a little bit disappointing from Tillett in this game was the back-to-back homers. Again, it was, I'm not going to say disappointing from Tillett. I'm going to say if Maryland is going yard with the wind blowing out 20 miles an hour, felt like we should have gone yard at some point in this game. This might be another season, boys, that we're not going to hit the long ball. And that's fine. We're manufacturing runs. But again, and I'll go back to Angel East when he's talking about not making a lot of errors. That is a huge improvement from the last couple of seasons, boys. Kev, I will give up the long ball for guys who hit doubles, triples, singles in right situations and situational hitting. We could play the chaos on the bases when we get guys on. I'm good with that if we're manufacturing runs. But wind's blowing 20 miles an hour out, you feel like, Maryland's not a great hitting team. They're a decent team. They're a Big Ten team. They're going to, have a decent season. We got to hit the long ball and not just solo homers, man. I think we hit the first homer last night. Maybe it was Rigo. Was it Rigo that hit a 2-run bomb last night? But we haven't hit anything other than a solo homer this season, which carries over from last season. Am I getting too picky, Kev, or does that really matter at this point?
I think you're a little too picky right now at this point in the year. We've seen a few guys have some serious pop. I think somebody had just mentioned in the comments we didn't get close to hitting the ball out today. We got close 3 times today. We got close. Griff had one. I think it was Mandino may have had another one. I can't remember the third guy. It was very close and left. We had some guys I think may have been trying to play to the wind too much, and we were getting under balls. We kind of seen that Friday night against Missouri State. Everything we hit was straight up in the air. And the Saturday against Missouri State and the Saturday yesterday, we brought that down. And we're hitting line drives, we're hitting balls in the gaps, and it was real consistent. And today I think we kind of maybe taken a step back in that aspect of getting under balls too much, popping up or rolling over, whatever it may be. But it's still early. I think you look at this lineup with Brown, with Spalita, with Abear, Markle. You got some Rigo. You got some guys with some serious pop. I don't think it's just fluky. I don't think it's sneaky. I think it's guys with power. I think it is still a little early to be looking at stuff like that, and I think that's one of the things that will come down the line.
I agree. And yeah, maybe I'm being a little too picky. Darren Domang setting me in my place. I think I may agree with that. Colt Brown, 5 doubles through 7 games. My dude, look, and this is what I was going to bring up. How the hell, Mike, do we choose between? I mean, we have Spalita, who's a catcher, but he's going to DH more than often. Colt is hitting the ball. You got Jose on the bench, which is like, man, I want Jose behind the plate. I'm glad I'm not getting paid to make that decision, because how do you keep 3 guys on the roster that are all really good catchers? Ah, man, I hate it. It's like the situation in football where you never want to see a quarterback lose their job because of injury. I mean, I want to see all 3. I wish we had a place for all 3 catchers, that they're all 3 catching every other inning. I don't know. It's crazy, Mike. That's going to be a tough position to gauge this season. But Cole Brown, man, he's done a job. And like Kev said, made a couple freshman mistakes, can probably have some defensively, be a little better at stopping some balls in the dirt. But you got to be impressed by what Colt Brown's done this season.
He's playing the game really well right now as a freshman. He's really mature as a freshman, and he's hitting for power. He still has power in the long ball that he can get, but he went back-to-back doubles earlier this game. I love Jose, and when Jose did come in yesterday, he drew a walk. But as soon as he went to the plate, the crowd erupted. Like, he's the fan favorite. He deserves a shot, but Colt's not doing anything to take him out. Colt's our guy going forward. Steven Spalita finds ways to get on base. He has that power in him. He's due for a home run, but he also draws a lot of walks. They're pitching around him. They're pitching him outside. He's still a good hitter, and he produces. So those catchers, which is unfortunate that they don't have a backup position. So all 3 of them are kind of stuck. Steven might be solid at the DH role. Colt's going to be behind the plate. And, man, I want Jose to get a shot. I want him to be back in, but you got to ride Colt out right now. He's hot.
But I think that gives opportunity. I mean, how many times do you see catchers get banged up in the season? I mean, that's a position on the team. It's like a goalie in hockey. Like, that's a position guys are going to get hurt, banged up. They're never healthy. But like this week against maybe Kansas State, I think we see Jose at some point maybe starting the game, and I'm okay with that, dude. He's a fan favorite. He deserves, the role he has, but also it's hard to take guys out of the lineup. I mean, you look at this lineup right now, you look at our position players, you look at the lineups we put together this weekend. It's hard to argue of how this team is put together, how this lineup's put together, how defensively, we're playing. I'm cautiously optimistic about how the rest of the season's going. Now, I do want to see a little bit out of Noah Lewis. I think if there's one position, now he's very athletic, he makes some great plays. I think if there's one position that offensively, if we're looking for something out of, maybe there are guys who can step in and do something there. But overall, guys, and I'll go back to you, Keb, or you, Lane, whoever wants to chime in. I don't think there's a whole lot of question that we have the best guys on the field right now. I mean, outside of Noah offensively, I'm struggling to find a weak point, especially, again, defensively. I'll pull up the stats for the season so far, but I think it's hard to pull anybody out of this lineup right now.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go back to what you said, the catchers conversation. I think you could take the 2014 Cajuns team, which we all know about. I think Jose has a spot somewhere in that lineup. He's the most clutch guy at the plate that we have. Whether it's drawn, I mean, look, like you said, yesterday he comes in, the crowd erupts. How bad do you think that guy or any other guy would have went up there and tried to swing to hit Albertsons, right? The guy draws a 4 or 5 pitch walk. That's the kind of guy you get out of Jose. I told Shelby, I think Colt Brown's last 2 or 3 at bats today, I said, this is a good spot to pinch hit Jose, because Colt was struggling a little bit. I'm glad they didn't, because I believe Colt had got on and scored the winning run. So, I'm glad that didn't happen. It worked out great, which also a testament to Colt, but it could have worked the other way too. So it's really nice to have those kind of options. You're 100% right.
Let's talk about that pitcher though for Maryland today, man. I mean, can we get in his ear? Just one of us. I know we can't tamper And by we, I mean the coaching staff can't tamper, but man, wouldn't it be nice to have him in our rotation, boys? I mean, he was very impressive today. And Lane, I know you were there or watched it today. Regardless, I mean, this guy, he was legit. Now, he could go in. Look, you know who else was legit against us last season? Alex Valentin. He acted the ass. He came out, and then he didn't do anything the rest of the season. I mean, but what you saw out of the guy today was tough. I like seeing it. Hastings, yep, 77-mile-per-hour curveball. Dude, that reminded me a little bit of Andy Groh, except Andy was nastier with his breaking balls. And I don't know if you all remember Andy because y'all probably too damn young, but Andy Groh, he's the reason we got to the College World Series. That dude threw trash before trash was invented. And I saw a lot of that. This wasn't as nasty as him because he just hit the corners well, and that umpire, for some reason, later in the game, loved that outside corner 6 inches off the plate and called him that strikes. But credit to that kid because he just went in and he hit those spots. He knew he was getting called a strike was getting called on that. And I agree with you, DeMontre. Andy Groh was better, but this kid hit his spots. Andy would just throw straight trash down the middle and nobody could hit it. Man, that was fun. And yeah, Andy, we did talk about how great we look defensively. Big change from the last couple seasons. Look, I think Bobby Leday is a great kid. Couldn't field the freaking ball at second base. Now you feel like our middle is secure, and not just at the shortstop position, but also at second base. You got Lee at third doing his thing. It's all good stuff. And boys, we have a call. How about that? We got a call in from our boy, man about town. Josh, what is going on, baby? Well, I know that.
Got no sound.
The Colt 45, wait, say that one more time. The Colt 45 blasphemy will not be tolerated. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. There's been blasphemy.
Wow.
Blasphemous statements have been made about my catcher.
Blasphemy. Okay, go ahead.
All right, I think y'all covered it. Somebody actually spoke some truth in the chat. 5 doubles I think he had 11 at bats on the weekend.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I'd say that's pretty good.
Kids hitting 400, 380, something like that.
Not bad.
But no, I'm messing around a little bit. I'm going to try to be brief, but I had some comments I wanted to make Friday, Saturday.
Take your time, brother. Look, we got all day. You're good.
Look, Friday, everybody keeps talking about how we should have never lost last Saturday. And my issue with that is the word should can never be used in baseball because we should not have lost Saturday in the mind of a person that doesn't follow baseball. But you should not have won, on Saturday last week, but you should not have won this Friday game against Maryland because they had it in hand.
Yeah, but when it's your team, they should never lose a game. So let's take that.
Well, sure. I get that, and I get it, and it's one of those things that in your mind, it's like, oh my God, you have a 7-run lead, you should never blow that. Well, ask a Maryland fan how they felt about the Friday game because they felt the same way we did about last weekend.
Well, I would ask them, but I can't find one anywhere.
Oh, it's bad. The presence is so bad. After they talked a little shit too. Which I was happy about. I thought, they're gonna bring a real fan base.
Well, one guy talked shit, then disappeared.
It was that Iverson for Heisman guy. That's their one fan. He disappeared after Friday.
Yes, man. I think and look, I like Ty Roman. I think he's got good stuff. The issue with Ty is that when his breaking balls turn and when they get flat, he's hittable. And I don't know if we found a Friday night guy yet. I'm not saying that Ty can't pitch on the weekends. I think he's got great stuff. But I think he has to have total command of his stuff to be great. And I don't know if that's Friday night caliber. I'm going to tell you right now, if the wind's not blowing in on Friday and the air is not heavy, as it was very humid that night, I think the game is 6-0 in like the 3rd or 4th inning. So I'm not going to let him off the hook, and I'm certainly not crushing the guy. I mean, I think he's talented, and I think he has enough stuff to pitch on the weekends. I'm not even debating that. But I don't need a 4 or 5 ERA guy on Friday night. That's just where I'm at with it.
And by the way, I wasn't giving anything away with the SEMO thing. He's going to be back at some point this season, is what I was saying. And that
Wink,
just
wink, wink, nod, nod.
but that adds another layer of like, well, who's your Friday night starter? I mean, it's got to be Simo, but he's also going to have to get some midweek appearances to kind of get his, Shaw's up to speed. So, I mean, to me, it's still Simo's job to lose. And then what do you do, with Tillett and Herm and your pitching rotation on the weekend? I don't know, but I agree with you. I think I need to see a little bit more out of him as a Friday night starter.
I think it's not set, and I think that people are still auditioning. And you heard Deggs. I'm not trying to jump too far ahead, but you heard Deggs kind of make some comments about the pitching in the post game today. Hinting at certain bullpen guys getting more innings. So you never know. Like I said, I think Ty Roman's got good stuff, and I think that he has the right personality. I think that his ability to calm himself and fight back, as you saw last weekend. And I'm not even saying this outing was awful. I just think that if we're going to be a team that can get deep into the postseason, we need a Friday guy that limits the offense's ability to score runs, and we challenge offenses to a point where they have to start making some business decisions in the dugout. And I don't know if Ty Roman's that yet. He may be later. And
Caswell
is a different animal than pitching in D2.
And Caswell just said Deggs hinted Brash may be vying for a starting pitching spot. I want a true closer. I want a true closer on this team. And whether that's Roman, whether that's Brash, I mean, I'm okay with giving Brash the opportunity to start, but I really would love to see him come in short inning situations, late in the ball game, a guy you can trust to shut things down. I'd rather him be a closer. We haven't had a true closer in a while. I would love to see somebody in that role this year.
I mean, dude, Brash is dotting up outside pitches at 97. Fits the role. Certainly fits the bill for sure. But specific to Friday night, I think it's an open competition, and I look forward to somebody stepping up because I don't think it's solidified. Anyway, look, I just want everybody to be honest with ourselves. Maryland completely surrendered the game on Friday. You got to give a shout out to Rigo, base hit in that inning. Look, I think we went 4 walks, 2 hits, and a hit batsman. We didn't really dive too deeply in that as far as the show and the group chat and whatnot. But as much, you guys absolutely love Blaze Trabarge. And I like him too.
I was hoping you were going to say that.
But listen, while everybody is fawning over Blaze Trabarge, all right, let's not forget about the rest of these freshmen. And you guys touched on it a little bit, but how about the pitcher coming in and absolutely shutting the door yesterday on a series win in Sawyer Pruitt, making that bullpen, lengthening that bullpen for Sunday, which will lengthen the bullpen for Tuesday and Wednesday when you go play a Kansas State team. Well, they come here, but, shout out to Sawyer Pruitt. And I'm going to get into him in a minute. But just to say, the freshman class, Noah Lewis, I know Noah Lewis is hitting like 200. But, dude, is he not the most natural, gifted center fielder we've had out there in quite a while?
And that's what I was saying earlier. Like, do you sacrifice his glove in center field for someone else to try to come in and hit the ball? I don't think so. I mean, he's again, defensively, we're the best we've been in 3, 4, 5 seasons. Like, I don't know if I want to give that
zero errors on the week.
That is unheard of. Never.
In the Deggs era, have we been errorless in a week?
Never.
I don't think so. And he's part of that. So Noah Lewis is out there being a natural, making it more difficult to score runs on a very good hitting Missouri State team, a very good hitting Maryland team. I love him in center field. I say let him figure it out. Right now you got Donnie LaSalle sitting on the bench with an injury. I heard y'all bring up Jose. And look, I like Jose too. I do. But Jose is in a very rough situation here where Colt Brown, look, plus arm, maybe better than Jose's. I think it is. The defense is comparable, and he's just ahead at the dish. Look, at Jose's peak in his career at UL, he's not been as good as Colt Brown is hitting the baseball right now. Never has been. He's been clutch, and he's got a couple of big hits as a UL catcher, but he has not been as consistent as you've seen in the 6 games we've played.
But
He
I
hasn't been.
think defensively, and this is because Colt is also, this is his first, I mean, he's a freshman. He's learning
He's
how
18 years old.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Jose's better defensively and calls a hell of a game himself. But at the same time, you got a young pup there that is showing promise. And again, hitting the ball better than we've seen Jose hit it in a while. I mean, I don't want to
Jose that he's better defensively. I don't know.
I don't know.
Jose's been an RBI machine for us. I mean, you can't deny that. I agree with your take, Josh, but Jose has been an absolute clutch RBI machine. He doesn't get the huge hits. He obviously the one against Texas, but just I'd say throughout the last couple of years, he's been exactly that.
Can you agree that his ceiling is way higher than Jose's? Cole
Yes.
Brown?
He's 18.
Oh, no
is.
one's debating that, Josh. I don't think anyone's debating that.
But I think
But
when
Kevin,
you
he's producing right now.
And when you're a
No,
head
he
coach,
absolutely is. I'm saying there's definitely a spot for both of them on the team, but right now I think obviously with him not being 100%, Colt's doing exactly what we need him to do and coming in and he, like you said, he's hitting the ball phenomenally right now. He's hitting for power. You know, he's getting clutch hits. He's doing everything. He's good defensively. He's doing everything he needs to do. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you.
let's say if it's even between Jose, who's a 6-year senior, or a kid who's 18 years old, just coming in here and maybe fumbles a couple of balls behind the plate that he could stop, but he's 18 and he's knocking the ball around the park. I mean, for the future of the program and trying to retain guys on this program into the future, it's a no-brainer. You got to keep the kid. You got to keep the hot hand. You got to keep the guy behind the plate. I don't think it's any question.
And the great thing is, Jose's such a team player. He's wired that way to where that's absolutely fine with him. This is his last year. If Dex tells him, "Hey, you're not going to play another inning of baseball the rest of the year," he's going to be like, "That's fine, coach. I'm going to do my best to help out Colt or Steven or whoever it may be." If you say, "Hey, you're going to play every inning this season," he's going to be like, "Let's go. I'm ready." That's the great thing about a guy like Jose.
Kev, you know, like I do. Okay, they're going to make the adjustments at Colt, and you kind of saw it at the end of the series this weekend. He kind of struggled with the breaking stuff. He's a great fastball hitter. He's a great bad ball hitter. He kind of struggled a little bit down the stretch with their bullpen arms, which is expected. He's 18. Okay, I think that he's going to tire out. He's going to catch a lot of innings. Having Jose as the catcher that comes in to relieve, or a guy that can come in an injury situation, that's a luxury that most college teams don't have. So
yep.
I think that's the value of Jose. I want to move on to Saturday. Sandy, y'all talked about Jose calling a great game. And look, I'm in favor of a catcher calling his own game. I was a catcher who called his own games. I like calling my own games. Sandy called a whale of a game for Herm on Saturday. And look, Herm was dialed. I said it early. Herm was as good as Herm has ever been on Saturday. But the pitch mix that they called from the dugout, and I'm sure Sandy's calling his game. I mean, I am assuming a little bit. I don't think they're going to let Colt call his own game at this point. The game that he called was impeccable. I had zero issues with every call. There was not a moment in that game where I thought, "Oh, it's a stupid call. It's bad pitch call." You know, Herm was rolling. The breaking ball, the curve ball was there. Throwing 90, 91 for Herm, you may as well be throwing 98, because his breaking ball is so devastating, especially inside to right-handed pitchers. It's so good. It's so devastating when it's on point. They had no idea. The swing and misses that he was getting was comical. And I'm just going to say, as an older baseball fan, I prefer a guy with a ton of knowledge of the game, a lot of seniority, a lot of pitches thrown, a lot of mileage on the tires. I like that guy on Friday. Do I think that Herm has the highest ceiling on the pitching staff? Absolutely not. I think he makes the most of what God has given him as a pitcher. I think we have a freshman that we mentioned earlier that has probably the highest ceiling on the team. But if you want me to give you the guy that I'm going to trust to go out and set me up for the weekend on Friday, it's Herm to me at this point right now. And on Saturday, he was as good as he's been. I think we all agree on that. I haven't heard from Mike. Mike, am I fishing in the same pond as you? I mean, how did you see it?
I agree. Herm, no issue to even remotely discuss of him coming out the rotation right now. When you have hard righties and then you throw a soft lefty on Saturday with a fastball that's not going to beat you, like you said, a swing and misses, it keeps them off balance. And then you come back on a Sunday and you throw a hard righty. But going back to the Sandy part, I absolutely agree. Like he's doing everything right now, everything good right now. He's going a hard righty, lefty, lefty, in most of the appearances. And then you see hard right, slow left. So they're mixing it up really well. They're calling timeouts at the right time. They're pulling guys at the right time. No issues with the coach. No issues with Herm. He's locked in. He's playing like he has nothing to lose right now. He does not care mentality. He's hyped every time he gets on there. He had really good control and command on the mound, just keeping people all balanced. And it's already hard throwing all speed for strikes, and he was doing it. He was getting ahead in counts, and then you get him to chase on strike 3. Like, he was just phenomenal.
But look, let me pose this question to you guys, because Bryce made a good point. Bryce Tinkle said bump Herm and Tillett up. So Herman on Friday, Tillett on Saturday, Roman on Sunday. But we're not even talking about Pruitt. We're not talking about Simo eventually coming back. Like, well,
let's talk about Pruitt.
Okay, let's talk about him. Go ahead.
What I figured that's where you were going with it.
Oh yeah, look, I'm a big Pruitt fan. I've said this from the beginning. I thought that guy had the most talent and upside of anybody on this team. But go ahead.
I agree, and we kind of talked about it. And I think Kevin and I were basically in the same ballpark about as far as where Pruitt fits into the future. Look, Sawyer Pruitt, he throws 91, but he barrels down on you like he's throwing 101. And I don't know if it's his release point. I don't know if it's that he's just imposing, but he's got something. There's something there that maybe batters are not picking the ball up. I don't know if he has some sort of a deception thing that I'm just not seeing, because I really haven't seen it from the plate. There's something there. And I love the poise. I love how they've used him so far. I got to see it against Kansas State. I need to see it in the midweek before I start saying he's a Friday guy. Now, I did say that, but I was joking around. Maybe, look, send him out there Wednesday, because, he threw 60 pitches on Saturday. I'd like to see him on Wednesday, not Tuesday. Throw him out there on Wednesday. Let's see a real lineup. Not that Maryland didn't have a real lineup, but, a lot of people were like, oh, man, Maryland, this, that, and the other. I got to be honest with you. I think outside of 5 guys, Maryland was kind of average.
Not impressed by Maryland.
And
I thought they were mid.
With me about that.
Mid team.
I mean, look, take Costello and the guy right behind him. I can't remember his name. You take those guys out of the lineup, it's a completely different offense. So I need to see – Kansas State's a good ball club. I want to see what Pruitt can do against a roster like that. And after that, one thing I used to love about Robe and the way that he would kind of approach these pitchers was make me not be able to take you out of the game. Force me to not put you on the weekend. And I think that we've got a couple of guys doing that right now. Brash, like you guys mentioned, he kind of made a statement. But Pruitt did too, man. He really did. He makes you think, damn, this kid needs to be in a starting role. And he's not a max effort guy, and he's not throwing 98. He's pitching. We got some pitchers on this staff, and I think Sandy's done a good job. But just to kind of make the comment about how we're going to use Pruitt going forward, let me see what you can do on Wednesday. I hope they don't start him on Tuesday. Let me see what you can do on Wednesday against a Big 12 total lineup, and then maybe we start having that conversation, because I do believe that he has the talent, the poise, and the grit to be a weekend guy, and I'm talking about a starter.
Josh, I want to direct this comment to you. So first of all, thank you, Jace Conrad, for chiming in, man. You're an all-time GOAT. If you ever have some time, DM me, send my brother your number, and I'm sure he has it, but we want to get you on here to talk about baseball, because, man, we had John Taylor on last week, and that was insane. But look,
undisputed GOAT, Lafayette, Louisiana native.
Hey, but hey, Jace is calling us out. He
said, Cook him, Jace.
He said, I thought it was time for a new coach. I want to say those words. I don't think those words came out of any of our mouths. I think if anybody's been the most critical, probably been Man About Town.
No, Jace. Look, Jason's busting my balls because he knows I don't like Deggs. And I don't like Deggs, and I don't like the way he manages games. However, there was a person on this here show that said Mr. Deggs has been learning from his mistakes. So
I've
I'm
never
kind of
I've,
saying that we've been making mistakes for quite a while.
look, I've never disagreed that he hasn't been making mistakes. I'm just saying you got to keep the faith. He's showing us this year he's doing what we think he can do, what he's supposed to do. He's still him.
Oh, by the way,
Deggs is
Josh,
him.
it wasn't you. It's Cole James Gilbo who he's calling out. Who hasn't?
We
Look,
called
Cole,
him out with his middle.
Cole,
No,
you
look,
can
I'm
call
gonna own it.
in.
I'm gonna own it. You guys know I got thick skin. I'm gonna own it. I have been busting Deggs' balls for years.
Oh, I know you
and
have.
I've said the same thing. It's the way that he manages the offense. I think we take way too many chances. And look, I will say this. Saturday, and not just Saturday. I thought last weekend we did it. Saturday we did it. Today to a certain degree, but we didn't execute well today. I think that you've finally seen a little bit of that pack mentality. You saw guys that they needed a little confidence in the short game. We started producing in the short game. I think that this offense lacks pop. One thing I totally disagree. I forgot who said it, but somebody said that we have pop in the lineup. I think our biggest issue right now is that we do not have enough pop.
That is
There's no
correct.
reason why you go 15 innings and you don't even hit a ball to the wall. I mean, that cannot happen.
Well, me and Kev disagreed with
We-
that because I said
We got pop, Josh. It's coming.
well, it's coming,
coming.
but the thing
Who's
is,
the pop?
it was.
I named
blowing
like 4
out
guys
today.
that's got pop.
But the wind was
Who?
blowing straight out today. And I get it that a couple kind of approached the warning track, but like the wind was blowing straight out. Nobody
It happens.
came
The
close to
baseball
getting the
out
ball
It
of
out
the
of the
field.
park.
happens, man. It happens.
They keep telling
It's
me that
baseball.
Spalita has monster power. And I'm not shitting on Spalita. I like Spalita. I love his approach at the plate. I can tell. I think Deggs actually made a comment about he has changed his approach a couple of times based on some things they're trying to fix with his swing. And look, I got love for Spalita. I thought he had a nice weekend. He recovered well after having a couple of bad at-bats. But look, man, we don't need you up there hitting singles. He is in the lineup to produce power. I got to see it. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm saying he's yet to show it. Donnie LaSalle, who you always make fun of me for riding for, that's my guy, my other guy.
Who makes
I'm
fun
a
of
Colt
you?
45 guy first.
Oh,
I'm a Colt 45 guy first. I'm a Donnie LaSalle guy second.
gotcha.
That kid has he is a pure hitter. I think just give him a moment, let him get comfortable, let him get healthy. I think that maybe we'll get some power out of Donnie, but I just expect him to hit the ball all over the ballpark. Outside of those two hitters, who's supplying the power?
Marco's got power. Rigo's got power. Lee's got power. Like you said, Spalita's got power. Brown's got power. I mean, they're coming.
But
the power is
can I
there.
be honest here? I don't give a shit if a guy can hit it over the wall. If they can hit doubles consistently and have 2 or 3 RBI, I'm good with that. I don't need a guy to hit it over
We got a guy like that. His name is Colt Brown.
Exactly. Then which is why it's a struggle because we love Jose, but Colt's doing his thing, man.
And look, I'm kind of joking around a little bit. I think some of these guys are going to get into their own and start hitting the baseball over the wall. I think that's going to happen. But to this point, you can kind of take it as a positive. We're not hitting for power, and we're winning games, and we're producing runs. And if you're going to be a complete offense in June, which is when we want to play guys, you got to be able to do it all. That's tag baseball. So in the same breath that I'm saying we lack power, which we do to this point, that's what the stats say. We have been developing offense from the ground up. We have been manufacturing runs. We have been using the short game, which is so great to see. And the speed is evident. You got, Blaze is very fast. You got Rigo who can run. You got Noah who can run. And there's some guys we haven't even seen yet that can run. Dino had a great weekend. There's a lot of things that you look at this, especially the freshman class, but even the older guys. We're starting to play the baseball that Deggs excels at coaching. If that can continue, I feel great. Now, moving to Sunday, because I want to get off the phone. I feel bad for taking up all this time, but moving to Sunday, I was giving Sandy some kudos. I'm going to say I didn't love the way they used the bullpen on today. I didn't love the way they used the bullpen. I don't know why you go back to Carter there. You got Will Taylor fresh. They weren't hitting the lefty. I think I go there. I go to Will there. That's my thought on it. I want to see what Will can do on the weekend. Maybe they're trying to save pitching for a 5-game week. If that's the play, I get it. I'm kind of disappointed in Pap to this point. Not saying he can't throw it, but I need more out of Pat and Brock.
I need, you know what I need?
Pat and Brock is.
I need
more.
I need consistency, Josh. We saw some good out of him against Rice, but Rice is not good. I need consistency out of Pat.
Now look, he bounced back, and I'll give him credit for that.
He did.
But this is the weekend, dude, and we got to get you to produce. You have the presence. I think he has the stuff. I don't understand the lack of control at times. Maybe it's a mental thing. Sometimes when you get these pitchers out on the road and they're not playing in front of 5,000 fans, maybe it helps them get comfortable. I don't know what it's going to take, but he clearly can pitch. He clearly has the stuff. We saw it. But you can't be a go-to guy, okay? Obviously, they trust like 3 or 4 guys out the pen. You saw him. Pap's one of them. You can't be one of the trusted 4 if we're walking batters and hitting batters. Like, that cannot happen. We got to work that out. We got to work it out. So, anyway, getting back to the point, I didn't love the way Sandy used the pen today. And to go silent at the plate for, what was that, freaking 6 innings late, not great. I did the positive that I got out of it was that Brash wasn't scared of the moment, so we learned a little bit about Brash, learned a little bit about the defense. Again, no errors. I mean, I don't think it's ever happened in the Deggs era that you have a week of baseball where no errors.
It has not. I looked it up. Hadn't happened.
And, oh, by the way, can we shout Lee out for playing the piss?
My man. Yes, sir. He dug some, I mean, it's not dirt, but he dug some ball out of the dirt a few times. He made plays, bro.
And look, he was a serviceable first baseman, maybe in relief at times. He has turned himself into a freaking first baseman. So shout out Lee. Not to mention he's just sitting there producing at the dish. So shout out Lee. That's what we need him to do. I don't need Lee to hit 350 and 15 bombs and 80 RBIs. That's not what I need. I need Lee to come in, be a menace from the left side, get clutch hits. I just think that that's who he is as a guy. Be a corner bat, whatever, but just produce when we need you to. I like him down lower in the lineup. I think he's been very good early for us. But look, gritty win today because a lot of things didn't go our way. We didn't run the bases well today. I was so pissed that Deggs, look, I don't know if Deggs sent, who was it? Was that Colt Brown that got thrown out at home plate?
No, I think Colt.
Pitch?
Yeah, I think that was on Colt. I don't think that was on Deggs, honestly.
And look, if it was, we'll learn from that. That's a freshman thing trying to make a play. Maybe it was Lee. I forget exactly who was at third. But it was just kind of like unnecessary at that moment. Some of this stuff is easily fixable. Last year, you see guys continue to make the same mistakes, continue not to know the game. So many times, and I like Stelly. I do. I like him as a guy. He's a nice kid. He would run when the ball was in front of him and get thrown out at third. It happened 2 or 3 times early in the season. And I'm thinking to myself, you learn in Little League. If the ball's in front of you and there's no force, stay your ass where you are. And we just continue to make boneheaded plays like that time after time. There's not a lot of times that you're watching these young guys and the team as a whole make mistakes that aren't like, oh, that's easily fixable. Like, you look at it and you go, oh, that's easily fixable. Like, these guys are out there playing. I think they're not scared of the moment. That's my biggest takeaway through 6 games. They're not scared of the moment. I like that. We're in there. We're in the fight on every pitch. I like that. So just some things, man. I want to say hello. I want to say, by the way, thank you all very much for doing the post game. Got to have baseball on Sundays. Everybody's thinking about the Cajuns on Sundays after a game. So thank y'all. Shout y'all out. I can't tell you the amount of fans that I came across this weekend that said, we love Rage and Review recaps on Sundays. They want to hear baseball after their team, especially after we sweep. That's always more fun.
Hey, don't go. Wait, before you go, want to ask you this question. Starters this weekend, I'm hearing Murphy Brooks on Tuesday and Pruitt on Wednesday. What are your thoughts?
Can I be honest?
That's what we're here for.
Look, man, the story with Murphy Brooks it's a nice story. It's a nice story. I don't know. Are we going to Johnny bullpen it on Tuesday? Or Johnny Allstaff it?
Do we have a choice? I mean, who do we have left at this point, man? Everybody pitched.
I want to see Will Taylor get some in.
I do. You're right. Yeah, Will Taylor. I forgot about him.
We got a few guys. Yeah.
I want to see Will Taylor. I want to see what Will Taylor can do because
Pearson's still
at
good to
SEM,
go.
he lit it up. Let's see what the pups can do. But no, Pruitt on Wednesday. Look, dude, that's one of those moments where a guy has an opportunity to make a real move on a staff. I think if Pruitt comes out on Wednesday and shoves it, I think he becomes a stalwart on the weekend.
Cole says
that's his
Pearson.
opportunity.
Cole said Pearson on Wednesday, Pruitt on Tuesday. You might flip that,
I like
Cole.
Pearson in relief, though. I like Pearson in relief.
I'd like to see Pearson get a start. I wouldn't mind seeing him start on Tuesday.
Josh, what have we been screaming at for the last 5 seasons? We have weekend relievers converted to starters. We actually have starting pitchers now, baby.
You know, you got to give him credit. And as much as we've given him a hard time, I'm at the top of the list.
Well, that goes, but that
credit.
Again, credit to the pitching coach identifying the talent that starts on the weekends. I'm not shitting on Gunner.
Well, and then also you got to give it to Sandy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, you got to give it to Deggs for letting Sandy run his pitch.
That's what I'm saying.
So far so good. Now, Deggs did get pissed on, I think that was Saturday, and he came out and he was going to make the move. And I could tell he was doing the Deggs walk, you know, God damn it, I can't believe you walked this guy or whatever. You know, I hope that he just lets Sandy run his pitching staff. That is my biggest hope. I do believe that we have the guys to score the runs, play gritty baseball, play pack baseball, shorten the field, lengthen the field, use the whole field. I think we have it on offense. How good we're going to be, I don't know. But I think we have the pieces in place. Maybe it's even next year. But to this, just to say, like, this core of players, this is the freshman class that we were promised last year. They're producing already. They look like a different caliber of player already. If we can just let Deggs focus on that and developing them, let Sandy do his deal with the pitching, you know, to Kev's point, if Deggs is old dog learning new tricks, I hope at the very top of the list is him letting the pitching coach the pitchers. I hope that is my prayer tonight. Please, God, let Deggs leave Sandy alone to coach his pitchers. So anyway, look, I think this weekend's going to be a nice test for the boys. I think in particular, the pitching staff is going to benefit the most out of playing a team like this. And the schedule doesn't lighten up. We got San Diego coming to the team. So it's good. It's fun. It's fun not to suck. It's fun to have guys that want to be in the limelight and playing ball in front of the Cajun fan base. It's great. It's fun to be at the park again. So nothing wrong with that.
I love it, baby. That's good stuff, Josh. Thank you for calling in, man. Anytime. Hey.
Oh, dude, thank y'all for doing the show. Like, y'all don't even know how much this is appreciated. Keep it up. Mike doing a great job. Kev, always good to see you on the show. Lane, keep it up, dude. It was good to see you this weekend.
Awesome, man. Thanks for calling in. And by the way, guys, if y'all want to call in, 866-454-RAGE, give us a call, baby. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you, Josh. We love you, man. All right. That was a lot of fun. By the way, let's go back. Wait, what was the question I meant to ask earlier? You were supposed to remember this.
Read the chat. Read the chat.
Oh, my
I already
God. Let me go
replied.
back to the chat. Sorry. So the atmosphere on Friday night. So that's one thing I want to go back to. And it seemed like the atmosphere all weekend was great. Today was a lighter crowd, but let's talk about Friday. You know, half of the crowd left after the 7th inning, and which was weird because we're in a close ball game with the chance to win it. But, you know, people have things to do and places to go, etc. Mike, I'll start with you. You were there Friday, right? So
Yes.
What was the atmosphere like, you know, watching from home, seeing that 9th inning? It looked like the pitcher couldn't even communicate with his communicator. Like, y'all must have been getting on his ass pretty hard. That was pretty impressive. What was the atmosphere like on Friday?
It started out with more than 4,000 showed up on Friday. So that was our true Friday night, because the first Friday was obviously at 2:00. So this felt like our opening weekend. It felt like a true Friday night, and it was loud. And then we go on a little dead spree where the bats aren't hitting. But when you go into the 9th inning, we're down by 3, and then half the crowd leaves. And it did not sound like they left. It physically looked like they left, but it was so loud. I remember seeing the pitcher. He put his hand up to his ear. He turned to the dugout, and he's doing like this to the pitching coach, like to repeat it. He could not hear with a half crowd capacity over there. It was extremely loud for every at bat. And then we draw what, a walk. They get a single, Trip gets an RBI double, and it just got louder and louder. And it was, man, it felt really good to be out there and then be that loud.
You know, one of the things, Kev, people talk about is the atmosphere. In the old Teague, it was smaller. You know, the sound traveled quicker. You were on top of the action. Did it feel kind of like the old Teague on Friday night, or was it just loud?
It was. I mean, I would. The new Teague has its own thing. You know, it's. I don't think there'll ever be an old Teague just because of the intimacy. But if this is going to be what the new Teague can be, then yeah, let's keep doing that. Because I mean, the noise. So when they took out the second to last pitcher and they put in the last reliever that walked home the winning run, we were already fired up at that point, obviously, because they had just walked home. They hit a guy and then walked another guy to tie it. So we were already making noise at that point. They bring in this cat. He gets up there. He throws one over the catcher's head. Everybody, ah! He throws his next pitch. It's in the dirt. In the dirt. He threw 6 or 7
and
balls.
by the way,
in a run.
shout out to Cole, because I heard him. That's why he didn't have a voice. That's why he's not calling in. That dude, I could hear him on the stream.
Yeah, 2 strike 3. Yeah, that was he was on it good. But no, Friday night, I think if you remember, like when the Saints played in the 2018 conference championship, Sean Payton challenged the fans. He's like, we can't just be loud on third down. We got to be loud when they're in between huddles, when they're in the huddle the whole time. That's kind of what it reminded me of at the Teague when the reliever came in, because that dude's stadium pulse was, it was shaking, bro. It was maxed out. He was shaking by the time that Rodriguez got to the plate. And, you know, he threw a couple strikes to start, and then, you know, Blaze had fouled off a few. And then I think it was three straight balls to finish it off. And at that point, during that last one, I posted the video on my Twitter account, but the noise in there reminded me of the Superdome. It was just it was like a third down in football. Everybody's, you know, it's just maxed out noise. The guy couldn't focus. And then the crowd pop when you get the ball for was just, it's the kind of stuff you live for on a Friday night in Lafayette. And that's the reason you get kids to come play for UL and then not the school across the basin or you know, wherever the hell else.
Well, that's what's great about Coach Hawk. When he came on, he's like, I want y'all to give me shit. You know, last weekend, he's like, I want y'all to give me shit. Y'all yell at me. Y'all, you know,
yeah.
The players appreciate
Section A definitely gave the coaches an earful too.
But you know what's funny is that Section A is supposed not disbanded. That's a bad word for it. You know, they transitioned to, we're going to do tailgating and we don't expect everybody to be in Section A. Everybody still goes Section A, baby. I don't think that's ever going to die. You know, it may not be official that everybody sit in that section, but that's got to be a lot of fun, boys.
The
Did
core
Jared Bro
still
show
there.
up this weekend, by the way? That's my boy, Jared Bro. I think I saw him in a picture, maybe.
He was there.
He was there?
But get back to Cole. I can hear Cole across the stadium, and I am like, it is pretty funny how he's so loud, and I can hear him from my seat, and I sit behind home plate.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You can hear him easily. I know the crowd thinned out towards the end of the 5-hour marathon today, but I loved every second 2-strike pitch. The 3, I loved it. My voice is still a little gone from Saturday and Friday, honestly.
We got to keep that up, man. That'll be great. Can y'all imagine if we play like we did these last couple of weeks, if we continue having success pitching and hitting and get it figured out? Because, you know, I feel like Des is going to figure everything out and put it on, you know, on paper by the time we come to conference season and what that looks like as far as our pitching staff goes, and he and Sandy are going to figure it out. Can you imagine if we're really good going into the Southern Miss game and playing Coastal at home? Man, I mean, those are going to be 2 of the most electric games we've had in a really long time, because Southern Miss their fans are trash. Yes, I'm trolling you. Their fans are trash. We don't like them. We want to beat them every chance we can get. until Louisiana Tech joins next year, and then we'll join forces to hate Ruston. Coastal, I mean, damn, finals of the College World Series. Mike, if you can't get excited for that in Lafayette and show up to the ballpark, plus we got TSAB coming midweek. We'll have to plan our parade if we beat them. You know, we're gonna have to. Man,
start printing T-shirts, bro.
This could be a really fun. Yeah, this could be a really fun season, Mike. What series are you looking most forward to? And it could be a series, it could be a midweek game, whatever. What games are you looking most forward to this season at the Teague?
Oh, off the bat is Coastal and Southern Miss. Just has to be. Kendall Rogers mentioned he's going to try to make the trip for the Coastal Series, but Coastal and Southern Miss are going to be the guys that are at the top. And if we play well, Troy's so right now. So if we can, make a good stretch throughout the season and it comes down to Coastal, Southern, us, and Troy, like all eyes will be on those two series because that's might determine the postseason for these teams.
I love this UL Angel East guy. He's awesome. Lane, I almost called you Cole. Lane, what games are you looking forward to the rest of the season?
Definitely the TSAB game for sure. That's on the top of my tier list. But I'd definitely say the Southern Miss game just because their fans travel and then they come hang out and all that. And then we get into it and then they watch our show, which helps us. But yeah, that's the two that I'm looking forward to.
By the way, Destiny came in earlier excited about Blaze because she's related to Blaze. I asked her already. I'm like, one, are you coming to the games? Two, you gonna wear UL gear? I mean, that's your cousin, bro. She said no, but I think that's kind of trash. I mean, you gotta wear UL gear if that's your family, right? Right? Kev, think about this. Your family, you gotta wear that gear.
I mean, if your family's playing for TSAB or Southern Miss, are you wearing their gear?
Nah, fuck that.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes
I get it.
The team colors are a little thicker than blood, I guess.
What games are you looking for? What teams are you looking for to play forward to playing this season?
Yeah, I mean, like Mike said, obviously your two pivotal conference matchups at the end of the year with Coastal and Southern Miss. Southern Miss series is always going to be a great weekend overall, win or lose. The Coastal series could have some serious implications towards the conference, at the end. It's going to be interesting because I think Coastal is down a few pitchers, a few of their top guys that went down this past weekend. So things could get hairy there, and I like how it's kind of those series are all lumped into the bottom. I believe we play South Alabama at home this year.
I need to look at it. I don't know off the top of my head.
That weekend, the weekend of March 14th.
That'll be another huge series because South Alabama's playing some good baseball right now. So that rivalry goes back. It'd be great to see that kind of start up again. But overall, it's obvious. I think everyone knows the game I'm looking forward to most is TSAB. I don't care if this gets clipped, if it comes off as little brother. There's no one more in the country I want to beat than LSU. Especially in front of a sea of red, which it absolutely will be. I've been seeing LSU fans on Twitter talking about a sea of purple and gold. That's bullshit. That's never happened in Lafayette. Never even gotten close to happening in Lafayette. No. And it won't start this weekend. You'll have 6,000 people there, and about 5,500 of them will be wearing vermilion.
These people are the most delusional fan base on the face of the earth, bro. Like, yeah, okay, you bought a championship in baseball last year. How's football going for you, by the way? Can't wait to see that fucking disaster of a ending. Sorry, every time I say a word, I look at you, Lane, and like he's gonna have to bleep this out.
I'm looking around for Jerry whenever you curse.
Yeah, the freaking altar boy over there. Oh no, he had other plans.
We
wanted to go to the game, Jerry. I see you in the freaking X Twitter Spaces, whatever it's called.
Yeah, he's sitting on his couch. Don't let him fool you.
Oh yeah, I know. He ain't here, so he can't talk shit back. And I'm not admitting him to the Twitter space, so he's screwed. He just has to listen to me.
Make your bed, sleep in it.
Last question before we go, because I know you guys have families. I just have Call of Duty to go play in a second. Midweek, we played Kansas State. We're going to, I guess we're not going to deep dive into Kansas State because we're going to come back on Thursday. So I know we do episodes on Wednesdays, but because we have a Tuesday, Wednesday game, we're going to pivot to Thursday. May do that for the rest of the season just because we have no baseball games on Thursday. So we may go ahead and pivot that as we go. But Kansas State, obviously using some of our bullpens Sunday gets you a little bit concerned. Who do you guys expect to start Tuesday, Wednesday? I expect Pruitt to come out as the starter on Wednesday. I think he needs a little bit of rest. Maybe Murphy Brooks from what I'm hearing. Before we get to that, we got a caller. Hey, what's up? You're on Rage Review. What's going on?
Yeah, I heard the name Jerry Abear. And
God. Okay, bye. Click in call.
Talk
Okay,
to me.
moving on.
Talk to me.
No, I'm talking shit because you said you were too busy, but you can call in. What the hell?
Well, my sick daughter's sleeping right now, so I kind of snuck out. I can't be long because I don't want the missus to get mad at me. But no, look, real talk, guys. Hey, y'all did a heck of a job tonight. Like
we
Mark
know.
said, I'll piggyback off of what he said. Love the content, man. I wish I could have been there. I missed all weekend, which just kills me. But it is what it is. When you got a 4-year-old, you got to tend to her. But I enjoyed every minute of this weekend with the Cajuns. Great, huge sweep.
Get to the point, Jerry.
Land the plane.
He's going to hang up on us.
I just heard my name. No. But I just wanted to say real quickly, one thing I wanted to add to what y'all talked about, I wanted to ask you guys, pitching. I noticed that Coach Sandifer has some autonomy on his coaching. You can see it by the decisions that are being made and the certain times pitchers are going in. How would y'all feel? And I think this is a good topic, and I know y'all probably talked a little bit about it with Josh. I heard it. How would you like Sawyer Pruitt, being a freshman this year, to kind of be what Jack Burke was as a freshman in 2017, 2017, as more of your midweek guy?
That's a guy who stuck it up T-Sab's ass, right?
What's up?
He stuck it up T-Sab's ass in New Orleans and made that one-handed catch. Yeah. I like Jack Burke. Look, I think, Sawyer Pruitt, I think the jury's still out on our weekend rotation, and I think Sawyer has a chance to be in that rotation. But we need to see a little bit more out of him during the midweek. Not because they don't trust him, I think just because, they're sticking with their weekend rotation right now. But I think, if I'm being all honest with you, I think we're going to see him at some point. But again, we're not thinking about Simo's out. There's so much to take into consideration. I think he's going to be a weekend starter at some point. I just don't know when. If that's this season, next season. I think it's the weekend starter's job to lose. And hell, if Sawyer Pruitt's our worst option for a midweek game, shit, I'm taking him all day.
It goes back to what I've said before when it comes to the pack mentality with the bats clicking. This team is still a work in progress. I think the power will come eventually. Colt Brown, him and Lee, they've hit a bunch of them to the wall. And then you've got, we joke about Blaze Rodriguez's name when Beggs talked about him being between Trahan and
Blaze Trebarge. Yeah, we know.
Dude, Blaze Trebarge, he's lived up to his reputation. 5 hits today. The kid looks like he's a junior instead of a freshman. And so
I gave him props. I publicly gave Deggs his props. I'm like, yeah, we're idiots. Maybe he's right. Maybe I'm wrong.
Look, hey, I say Blaze Trebarge as a joke, but he plays like Blake Trahan and Kyle DeBarge so far. And also, too, got to give a shout-out. How about Trip Dotson on Friday night coming out in the clutch in the bottom of the ninth after a seasoning-ending injury, getting that base hit to keep that merry-go-round going and eventually getting us that walk-off walk again on Friday night, man. I'm so happy for Trip, man, because, I know we talk about the Deggs and how he likes to Deggs' lineup. I feel a lot more comfortable with this team when it comes to an Owen Galt, a Trip Dotson, a Case and Bellard. Those guys, like in the midweeks, I feel just as comfortable with any of them starting in the lineup as I do with the lineup that he's played so far. I think there's a lot of hitting potential, even with our guys riding the bench right now. It's so great to see some of these younger guys step up, especially the freshmen and the sophomores, and get clutch hits like we've seen. So, hey guys, just real quickly, we're 5-2, 5-game win streak right now. Keep that momentum going on Tuesday. I don't know about you guys, but I love the 2-game home stretch against Kansas State. I think that's going to be a great test. I think if we at least take one of those games, RPI-wise, it's going to help us. And I think that's a perfect transition going into this weekend. I personally want to see Sawyer Pruitt play on Tuesday. I want to keep that momentum going. I'd rather go Johnny Holstaff on Wednesday and kind of give some guys some reps before the Friday or weekend series against San Diego. But, man, I'm going to tell y'all, so far 2 weeks in, Cajun baseball looks like it's fun again. I was very apprehensive before the season, but I like what I see so far. So, anyway, love you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. I will be back this week. And it's unfortunate I missed this weekend, but I'll see you guys at the Teague on Tuesday, fellas.
All right, Jerry. You have a good night, bro. By the way, shout out James Carrier. Jerry's the kind of guy that wakes up the entire house to let him know he's going to bed. That's awesome. I'll let him take that up with Jerry. Okay, as I was getting back to the original question, and Jerry kind of mentioned it, he wants to see Pruitt on Tuesday and then Holstaff on Wednesday. I'd rather see Sawyer on Wednesday because he did pitch some innings this weekend. I'll start with you, Keb. Your thoughts. What do you want to see as far as starting pitchers this week? Are you on mute, bro? Yeah, unmute yourself. There you go.
Sorry. I definitely want to see Pruitt go. I'm thinking I want to say Wednesday. And let's see what we can do. Let's leave our better guy for Wednesday. Someone we know that has, he has a lot of potential to strike out a lineup like that, we think. Let's save him for Wednesday, give him a little bit of extra rest. He didn't throw a whole hell of a lot of pitches this weekend, I think, yesterday. But I kind of want to see Pearson. I think Cole had agreed. I kind of want to see Hayden Pearson go Tuesday. Just get out there and get us what you can. He didn't throw a ton of pitches today. He threw 14 pitches today, so he's pretty much good. See if he can get us off to a start. I'm not too sure where Murphy's at. I haven't heard a lot about him coming back from his injury. The last I heard, he was progressing well, and I think Deggs had mentioned before the year at some point he'd be back. I didn't expect it to be this early. So, I mean, if it is, he showed a few signs a few years ago on midweeks of a guy that could go a little while. But right now, Pearson's been pitching good. I kind of want to see, like you said, maybe a Johnny Holstaff type day on Tuesday. And hopefully K-State will go with one of their better guys Tuesday and leave the door open some Wednesday to try to get out of the week with a win, at least on Wednesday. If we could split with K-State as good as they are right now, that would be a solid start to a pretty tough week.
Yeah, I was going to say, so let's talk about Kansas State. So they participated in the NLB Desert Invitational in Arizona. They beat Iowa to open the season 15-6, beat UConn 7-3, beat Penn State 24-5, and then beat Air Force 11-8, which Air Force, I understand, is a pretty solid team this season. They did drop a game in the Amagi Bank College Baseball Series this weekend, 5-1. Auburn is ranked 9th in the country. They beat Nebraska 5-3, and right now in the bottom of the third, they lead Michigan 5-3. So we're talking about a team that may be coming in 6-1, Mike. Do you lead off with Pruitt on Tuesday, knowing they're coming in on a hot streak, or do you kind of Johnny Holstaff it on Tuesday and hope to come in on Wednesday to even it up or get the win? I mean, and Bryce made a good point that Pruitt only pitched 50 on Saturday, 50 Tuesday, 38 on this Saturday. So he might be good to go on Tuesday. I don't know why. My gut tells me I'd rather see him on Wednesday. What are your thoughts, Mike? Do you have any preference?
I'm kind of torn on that because I want to beat him game one. I don't want to have to try and be forced and more stress at bats on game 2. I'd rather. I'm torn on Pruitt. Either way, as long as he's healthy, if Deggs approaches him and is like, "Hey, are you ready to go on Tuesday or rather Wednesday?" As long as he's healthy, I want to see a fresh Pruitt on the mound. I think all eyes will be on him, but I think our whole pitching staff, all hands will be on deck. We have a long, tough stretch the next 2 weeks, so we really need guys to step up, especially with an already shaky back end of the bullpen right now. We need guys to step up and really give us long innings. I want to see Hayden Pearson. Every time they put this kid in, a freshman, he's been effective. He doesn't go long stretches. I don't know if he's been more than 2 or 3 innings every appearance, but Hayden Pearson throws strikes. He's a lefty. He's amped up, but I really want to see the back end really show up. I need all the guys. We're probably going to see guys that we probably haven't seen throw many innings, but we really need them to go long and deep innings because we're probably going to throw a lot of arms the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, and Lane, I'm good with dropping a game midweek and splitting where we could have, pitched some top guys during the week, but I want to see what our bullpen can do against solid competition coming into a team that's 5-1, maybe 6-1. I'm okay with dropping a game against Kansas State. Your thoughts on the weekend pitching situation? I mean, I think our lineup is pretty much set, and I think you may see Jose at some point this weekend, but I think for the most part it's set. But pitching wise, do you want to see Pruitt on Tuesday, Wednesday, and who do you want to see as our second starter?
I do hope we see Jose come back either on Tuesday or Wednesday. It'd be nice to see him have an extended period of time and to get healthy and get ready to play for the season if he's needed. But I feel like having Sawyer pitch Tuesday or Wednesday is a definite. It's just a matter of which day you want to have him on. But then I think we have to go Johnny Holstaff on the other one to give other guys the opportunity, even if they haven't pitched much this year, just to give them the opportunity to have some pitches under their belt.
I agree with you. Final thoughts that I have for you guys. And I just lost it. Don't you hate when that happens? I had a thought at the tip of my tongue because this guy Cajuns BSB, I'm like, what are you talking about? Colt Brown. Look, I agree with you. Colt Brown is legit right now, but I still think Colt Brown doesn't need to get worn out the third week of the season. I think we have place to put Jose midweek if we drop a game or two or whatever because we're trying to figure it out before conference season. I'll do it every single day. We're not talking about last season or 3 seasons ago where we're struggling 0-3, 1-6 going into the third week of the season. We're talking about a season where we're pretty consistent right now. So I'm willing to take it on the chin right now to get in the conference season. And, Jose deserves it, man. I'm not saying Jose is going to be the starter when we get to conference and regionals and supers, but hey, give the guy a chance. And if Colt goes down, because, again, that's the toughest position on the team, you got a guy ready to step in. Yeah, boys, any final thoughts going into this weekend? The final thought I did have was to say congratulations to the ladies softball team. Went, I think, 4-2 this weekend. They did well in the TSAB tournament. They dropped the game to Houston and then lost to TSAB by a run in extras. By the way, let's talk about that. All right, I'm going to be petty. Yvette Girard, former coach, respect her totally. Not blaming her for this, so I don't want anybody to take this as a hit on Yvette because I love her to death. And by the way, TSAB or UL would not be where they are in softball if it weren't for her. So screw all y'all for trying to screw with that. But the play-by-play guy, who's not Yvette Girard, kept calling us ULL intentionally the entire game. And look, I really don't care. I mean, my mom calls us that. She doesn't even know that it's offensive. Whatever. I really don't give a shit. I give a shit when people like TSAB come in and be like, oh, we're just so much better than you. And then they try to act like, oh, your little brother. Nah, dude. If you're intentionally going out of your way to call us something we don't want to be called, that's little brother energy. I'm sorry. Clip this. If Cloverleaf Mall's watching, do it, clip it, send it to TSAB because they're a bunch of assholes. The point is, it's amusing that they flex their muscles on their official Twitter to say, keep the extra L or something. That was a damn good game by two really good teams. And after everything we've been through, for us to compete with a team that is ranked and take them to extras and have a chance to win, but we blinked, is impressive. I don't care what team you cheer for, but it's just the epitome of the, I guess the just thinking you're better than everyone else factor that those people have. To make that comment from an official TSAB account is disappointing, man. Like, that was a really good game between two really good teams, and nobody's talking shit about it. Like, those are a bunch of ladies who played their hearts out, and you know what? They got us on this one. We beat them many times in postseason. It's just disappointing, man. I don't understand why people can't just be respectful in those kind of situations, but you don't expect it from those a-holes. I'll leave it at that. Anybody else want to comment on it before I go?
Yeah, I definitely do.
I had to get that off my chest because, like, I don't call you, hey, Kevin Dorey, how you doing? You're like, no, call me Kev. Okay, Kev. Like, I'm not going to call you. So it's a matter of respect, and they're just a bunch of, I'm not going to say, because I don't want Lane to have to edit this more. So go ahead.
I'd expect something like that from maybe a football account or one of their stupid
or McNeese
mini Twitter burners,
or like a little school like
McNeese. Well, a little brother. Well, being at a softball, that was real little sister energy. If you want to post something like that, how about beat us in a regional? Because last time I checked, y'all couldn't do that, and last time I checked, that regional was in your home stadium. So that's some real little sister energy from LSU's part. But talking about softball, shout out Sage Hoover. She threw an absolute.
I was gonna say she's
gem.
a man, but no, she's not. But she's freaking a hoss, dude. Like
she's her.
Amazing.
She's her. I want to say she was up to 156 pitches last I checked, and that was in what did it go to? 11 or 10 or 11 innings.
I think 11.
Yeah, LSU had pulled their reliever before they pulled Sage. Well, Sage finished the game, I believe, but we had a chance there to win it at the end. We got called out for taking off from first before the ball left the pitcher's hand and got called out with a chance to score with less than 2 outs and run on third. Yeah, it's a tough mistake. It does happen. It's just unfortunate that it happened in that magnitude of situation. But either way, that was an extremely good game played by both teams. We went 4-2 in the weekend. I believe Beth Noble threw a complete game shutout on Friday. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that was against Howard. We got a run rule win against the SEC opponent in Missouri.
Yeah, that was awesome.
We got a blowout win against a good Big Ten program in Michigan State. Couldn't hang with Houston today. I wasn't able to keep up with that. It looked like it ended in a run rule, but I'm not too sure what happened there. But man, the improvement we've seen in softball as well. Honestly, I'm a little more surprised from that than the improvement we've seen in baseball. And maybe it's because I kept up with baseball a little more through the off season. I kind of knew we'd improve quite a bit, but the improvement in softball has been fantastic. Especially like the opening weekend, first 2 weekends, we're crushing the ball. We're crushing homers. We were top 20, I think, in homers after the first weekend. I think some of that production's fallen off a little bit, but obviously we're playing teams like Florida State, LSU, Missouri, Michigan State, Ole Miss. The list goes on. So there's some good young pitching on that team. I really like Bailey Mackles. I think she's got a ton of potential. Hoover obviously is doing great. The transfer, Julian Tipton, looks pretty good. Beth Noble's kind of like the underdog on that staff. I like what she can do. So I think there's some potential there in softball to make a big step into getting back where they should be, our standard Louisiana softball.
I agree. And look, I know Coach Allie had a tough season last year, and look what she was thrown into. But I would rather have one Coach Allie than 10 Coach Glasgow's. And this is not to say Coach Jerry didn't do a good job. He did. But she's here for the right reasons. She's not here.
She's here for this.
Right. She's not here for a paycheck. And the proof in that is, shout out Jamarcus Fitzpatrick did a story about salaries for coaches, and we thought Deggs was in a contract year, and it turned out he's not. He's 2029. We'll talk about that in our next episode. But you know, you look at Coach Allie, and her salary is 140,000, and her guaranteed assistant salary is like triple that. So you're looking at a lady who didn't have to come coach for us. She chose to coach for us. She chose to take a pay cut to coach for us. And she chose to take that money that she would get paid to give her assistants to make us better. That tells me everything I need to know about her. That really does. You know, Kev,
Yeah,
I mean,
she's the Drew Brees of the softball world.
She really is,
she's
man.
taking pay cuts. She loves the city. The city loves her back. You know, she's one of the greatest to ever do it at a high level. So she's really a blessing.
we got her back, bro. Like, you know, wins and losses are great in softball, and we're a perennial powerhouse, and I think she's going to get us back there. But y'all don't know, like, y'all know, but like how much we lost in that 1 year from a guy who decided at the worst possible time to leave us for a check.
He stripped us dry, man. Allie had to rebuild this thing from the studs, which the studs are solid. So she's got a great foundation, but it's truly had to been rebuilt. So she's doing a great job.
Very proud of her. Boys, it has been a lot of fun tonight. We got to wrap it up. I need to go eat dinner because my fat ass is hungry. I'll go around the horn. Let's start with you, Lane. Any final thoughts for tonight?
Glad that we got the sweep over the Terrapins. Best stop seasoning is better than whatever Maryland serves.
Bro, Old Bay, you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you they appreciated that best stop seasoning, the Tony Sacheries, because you know they ate our cooking club all weekend. So I don't know. The food's a little bit sweeter, in my opinion, when we win than when we lose, but it's always good in the cooking club. Kev, any final thoughts, bro?
Yeah, Lane, the crabs go in the water, couillons. We don't steam that. We put that in the water. And we don't use no Old Bay, that's for sure. Great weekend. Softball, basketball got a win. Baseball gets a sweep. Quick shout outs, Cody Brash, man, as a closer to come in and throw 70 pitches today. Who would have thought? Yeah. He was the man, bro. He sacrificed himself. And at the end, what I really love, and Deggs has talked about this with another guy. I can't remember the guy earlier this year. You see Colt Brown go up to him after he walked the bases loaded there in the second to last inning or whatever it was, and he asked him, and he's like, I'm done. For him to have the, to go up there and say, hey, take me out, I cannot help us anymore, that says a lot about that kid's character. And apparently we've got a lot of guys like that. So you love to see it. Shout out Blaze Rodriguez, a.k.a. Blaze Trabarge, a.k.a. greatest to ever do it at the position. This guy's going to be a legend in Lafayette, I'm sure of. I want to keep seeing him doing what he's doing. To let guys off to a great start today. Smith and Pearson stepped in and did their job. Everybody did a job today. And to go 15 innings and get a win like that is just phenomenal. So very, very excited about the future.
Destiny, you better come down for the Lafayette series because I may be living in Louisiana by that time. I want to hear her go Cajuns. I want to hear her go Cajuns when we talk about your cousin, your blood. Your blood, that's thicker than water. That's thicker than your little. All right, she's coming down. All right, boys. We're going to see. Let's give a round of applause for Destiny. We'll see her down in Lafayette.
Destiny said she's planning 2 trips to the Teague this year.
Oh, shit.
Not just Southern Miss. So Maybe one of these weekend series up. You might look around and see Destiny up there wearing like a ski mask or something, trying to hide herself. She will be there.
She will do anything to spite me. So yeah, that would definitely be it. But look, you and your husband are always welcome at our tailgates. We'll take good care of you. Look forward to seeing you at the Teague. Mike Beerb, final thoughts tonight, baby.
2 walk-offs by the freshman. To touch on Cody Brash, he put us in a really good spot that we should have ended our game. We got on base multiple times and we just couldn't hit our way through to end it. We got the sweep against a Big Ten opponent. Hopefully Maryland goes on a run and it shoots up our RPI. This is exactly what we needed. A series is a good, tough team, but sweeping a team is bringing it up to a different level. And if they can tap onto that going into this week, because this is going to be a tough stretch the next 2 weeks of games. This is exactly what we need to go into that. Couldn't have done any better. Props to everybody, the hitting, the pitching. Great sweep.
One last comment. That might not be smart to wear all black in Louisiana weather.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, that's tough. It's like 100 degrees outside. She should know that, but I think she's a Southern Miss grad, so you assume they know these things, but not too sure about that. Boys, it's been a lot of fun. To all the folks watching, listening tonight, please like, subscribe, add us, click the notify button and subscribe button on YouTube so you know when we're doing these post-game things. But Mike, thank you for being a goat, man. I know I strung you along for quite a while, so appreciate you. Kev, you're always a goat. Lane, you keep things rocking around here. So boys, appreciate you. And yeah, that's about it for my boy Lane, for Big Kev, for Mike. By the way, tell Ramey I said what's up. Y'all, I am Nicholas. Y'all have a good rest of your evening. We'll watch some Cajuns on Tuesday. And until then, as always, go Cajuns.